What up? What up? What up? I think y'all know who we are by now, but in case you don't, you know it's Tuesday night. So this is the NFL Matchup Madness revamped season 2, baby. So we're doing things a little different. Got to get this hat right. There we go. Big head, so you know, big head hat problems. You know, we back for season 2, man. You know, just doing things a little different, bringing you something a little unique, a little special, a little fun, you know, a little blend. Here we got the live matchups of our prime time and the game that you picked. And I just want to let everybody know that picked the game this week. Y'all wrong, but we're gonna get into that later. But you know, and then of course we have the videos on the Matchup Madness on the Play Caller Sports Talk page, so you can hop on there. And if your team is not represented here, hopefully your representative got in there and you know, drop that knowledge for us. But got that out of the way. It's time to dive into this matchup. So we're starting off with the Washington Commanders, who almost got them a dub on Sunday, against the Chicago Bears, who almost got them a dub on Sunday. So, Couch Coach, Cooley, what's going on, fellas?
Good. We're here, you know.
Week 5. Week 5. That's all I got to say. Week 5.
Yep, we already did week 5. So, Couch, we'll start with you, man. We got this matchup. What is it that the Washington Commanders put it this way, what have you seen from your Commanders in the first 4 games that you feel like you're going to be able to do in this week 5 matchup to possibly get this win? And I know y'all won't.
Yeah, I think if you look at it definitely from a standpoint of seeing how many times Sam Howell's been sacked over the course of these last 4 weeks, you look at this Bears defense that's really only has had two sacks on the season. So you look at this could be a potentially where Sam Howell can somewhat do his thing against this Bears defense. I think that's one of the things that I definitely want to see in this matchup. And obviously our defense is atrocious. I think we're giving up a little over 30 points per game in these last 4 games. See what our defense can do even in this game. And it's just one of those where we want to see the resolve of this team. You know, we looked at, you know, obviously the embarrassing loss to Buffalo at home, and then even how we came out last week against Philly. You looked at the fact of, hey, they, you know, was able to do that to pretty much control the tempo of the game, but fell short in overtime. And now you're going against a Bears team where still, regardless, this is not a team to play with. This is an 0-4 team that's hungry. They had pretty much Justin Fields had pretty much one of his best, output in his career at this point. And I know they're trying to build upon that. So I really want to see the mental toughness of this team. This is a gut check type of game for this Washington Commanders team. We got to see their toughness and their resolve.
Okay. So, Ghoulie, man, the same thing for you. What have you seen for the first 4 weeks that you feel like you guys can carry over and attempt to get that dub that I know y'all really want as well on Thursday?
Oh man, the first 4 games. To be honest with you, Cool, and to be honest with you, Coach, it's to be honest, it's been these last 4 games has just been nothing but finger pointing. But the biggest thing, what I've been noticing, is accountability. No one's being held accountable for all these straight 4 losses and for the 14-game losing streak that we have. You know, accountability, especially for what happened on Sunday. And you're right, Justin Fields have had he had a tremendous game on Sunday. And it showed me, it showed me that, you know, people are saying, oh, Justin can't throw. I'm sorry, let's nip that in the bud. The man can throw. It's just the fact that he can read defenses, that's the issue. But we've known this when he was, got drafted. The problem is accountability, and the accountability is your coaching. Because let me ask y'all something, Miss, about both your franchises, Eagles and Commanders, respectively. Name me an organization that y'all know that would hire a head coach before hiring a GM. How many franchises would do that? And then you get the coach autonomy over the whole entire coaching staff, and this is what you got. You have a first-time offensive coordinator in Luke Getsley, who was a quarterbacks coach for Green Bay. And then you got, Matt Eberflus, who is, was a defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. It's the part of accountability. And also another thing, too, is trust. Because there was one thing at the last minute of that Denver game, which told me that Matt has no trust in his own defense. But yet you're a defensive genius, a defensive coordinator, or what have you, right? I'm sorry, you're at the 30. You wanted to go for it. All right, that's fine. If you were the Eagles, or you were the 49ers, or you were the Chiefs, 3 great franchises, by the way. And, you can make stuff like that if you have the primetime impact players to do that. You don't really here in Chicago. You're still a rebuilding team. Because there's a lot of Bears fans out there that wanted this team to be in the playoffs. I am not one of them because, Ryan Poles basically said, I want to build this through the draft and get something, some big key free agents in the time. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Cool. I know I got to keep it minimum, but yeah, it's just accountability and trust.
Okay. So
that's the thing.
What made the difference? Okay. Gotcha.
Accountability and trust.
All right. So, Couch Coach, I'll ask you this. What is it that you feel like the Bears would be able to do to get a victory over you on Thursday?
I think they got a lot. I mean, you look at Justin Fields, you think about even in our matchup last year where I know half of America will sleep, stay up, get some coffee. No excuses this time. Watch us this week. He pretty much did a great job against us in that matchup. And if it weren't for that fourth quarter fumble punt in the fourth quarter, the Bears would have beat us in that game. You look at that, and if they can get that running game together, you look at Khalil Herbert. He had 103 yards last week. And I think that's if you get that combination going and keep this team on the field and get this defense gashed. And we even talked, and I think every week the thing for me is always that breaking the down. They have an opportunity to break the down in this case where we looked at, obviously you look at us averaging 30, our defense giving up 30 points a game. This is where the dam could break in the situation. If you get Justin Fields going, I know there's been some talk where he being robotic and this, that, and the third. But I think if they use his strengths and then with Khalil Herbert, they might get their first win in almost a calendar year. So it's possible. Extremely possible.
Right. And Malcolm, same question the opposite way for you. What can the Commanders do to try to beat you guys?
Keep that defense on the field and run. Or if your quarterback is Sam Howell. I don't really follow the Commanders like that, but can Sam Howell scramble?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Sam Howell can scramble. He can throw deep because our secondary is cooked. Hopefully we get Eddie Jackson back, please, and hope and pray to God. And just run and throw deep. That's what it's been for the last 4 games.
Okay. All right. So last thing for you both. Any final thoughts? And then your score prediction for the game. And Malcolm, we'll go with you first on this one.
Last year, I'm not gonna lie, when I did was it last year? It was Thursday night last year for the Bears and Commanders. I'm not gonna lie, I had hope. I had us winning that game, and some blatant ref ball here and there, and some bad offensive play callings down the stretch really cost us. Here, like I said on the last video feed that I sent Mr. Cool, I have us winning somehow, some way. But there's somehow, some way, I'm going to say it will be a 20-17 ball game. Chicago somehow, some way wins it here. And this is kind of a revenge game for us. Because personally, last year, I think we should have beaten Washington if it, if the, dominoes weren't, so messed up or, were aligned perfectly. But yeah, 2017 ball game. Somehow Chicago somehow get their first win. And I do not want to come up next week with 15 L's. I'm even desperate at this point for a win.
All right. And Coach, what about you?
I definitely think it's going to be a good game. Definitely, and it's crazy. It's almost a year to the date. Last year was October 13th. Obviously, October 5th is the game this year. I think it's gonna be a little bit similar, but more so in a sense. But some points are gonna be scored on the board this time, more than likely. I definitely think Brian Robinson can get a nice healthy dose of the carries, like almost similar to in that Week 6 matchup last year. I think Sam Howell, he'll get his mojo back more so now at home. He returns back home. I definitely think the Commanders, especially being at 2-2, their backs against the wall, they got to win this football game. I say they win this football game by a final score of 31-24.
All right, fair enough. So, gentlemen, good luck to you both. And we'll definitely see you on, of course, for those weeks. We'll do all the games. Then if you have some more primetime games, we know Flex is going on, so you never know. We'll definitely see you guys then, and appreciate you both for hopping on.
As always,
Appreciate
no
you.
problem.
Let's go.
No problem. Let's
Yes,
go.
Commanders.
All right, so we are going to move over to our next matchup here. In that matchup, we have the Jags versus the Bills. And we do have here Mr. Hats, Tats, and Stats himself, Derek. What's going on, D?
What up, cool?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much. So we got a couple of things in the chat here. So we got Ryan McCarthy, our Jets rep, Mr. McCarthy himself, with the yo, what's going on? And then, of course, you there with your your prediction, Commanders by 17. All right, so there, we're solo tonight, but that's okay because I know you can handle this. So,
I can. I've been known to talk a time or two in my life.
I never would have guessed that, man. I never would have guessed that. So you got this matchup against the Jags. Jags, up and down, kind of all over the place, right? You guys seen a tough first week, seem to be kind of moving in the right direction. What do you guys need to do to win this game? And then what do you feel like the Jags can attack with your team offensively and defensively to win this game?
So my biggest thing in this one, and Duval Nation, let me talk to you. You guys don't have an identity right now. The Jags just don't really know who they are. They don't know if they want to run. They don't know if they want to just sling the ball around the yard. Everything that I see in the admittedly limited exposure I have to the Jags is they don't really have that. They don't have, when you play the Bills, you're playing Josh Allen, and now we have a running game, which is kind of cool. The Jags, they 2 years ago ran the ball down people's throats. Last year, they slung the ball around a little bit. This year, it just feels like they don't really know what they want to do, what they want to commit to. They try one, it doesn't work. They abandon ship. They go to something else. I think the Jags need consistency, and I don't think we're the team to try to build that against. On the plus side, if you don't know who you are, that means we can't know who you are, and that might be an advantage. I know weird stuff happens in London, like the toilets flush backward. That's the other side of the world. That's a joke, but weird things happen in London. So I'm not walking into this game saying the Bills are going to run this one. I obviously didn't say that last week, and hey, you know what? I had a pretty darn good Sunday. Me and the boys got a little too into it. We leaned into one because of that win. So I'm not expecting that because, weird things happen in London. And for some reason, just like the Bills struggle with the Jets, the Bills struggle with the Jags. And I'm thinking back to a 9-6 ball game a couple years ago when really the Bills and the Jags weren't on even close to the same level in anybody's consideration. That game should have been one that the Bills felt good about and ran away with, and we lost 9-6. And then I go back to being in Jacksonville for a playoff game when my boy Tyrod decided to not do anything touchdown wise and break my heart for probably the longest car ride of my life. But that was the past. This is the future. I don't see that being a problem here. I think the Bills, just keep doing what you're doing. Balance, run the football, let Josh do what he does. Josh stays patient. And our offensive line holds up the way they've held up the last 3 weeks. We're in good shape. We went from we played a really, really tough defensive front week 1, got beat up a little bit. Since then, it's looked pretty good, and we've played some pretty decent defensive fronts. The Jags have a pretty solid defensive front. They got some solid linebackers up the middle. But I think as long as Josh just sits back, is patient, we've shown that our guys can make plays. We're not just a catch and fall team anymore. We're getting some yards after catch. We're moving the football with the ball in our hands. Running the football, again, has been huge to open up other things, and then we can beat you with the shots. And the Bills do that, it's going to be fine. The biggest thing to attack here, I had my starting cornerback 1, who was just returning back to form, out for the season with an Achilles. Less than a year after coming back from an ACL. Yeah. My heart breaks for Trey. That is you saw his reaction on the field. He threw his helmet immediately. He knew. And your heart breaks for a guy like that. Wasn't quite himself last year. Took a long time to come back from that, longer than most ACLs take. And he's just getting back to form. He's in coverage. He's making plays. He looks like himself again, and he's out again for a year. And then, the guy on the other side jammed up his shoulder. We had one perimeter corner by the end of the game last week. That's tough. Poyer comes back. He's healthy this week. That helps. We can drop Rapp into that nickel corner role. We can move some guys around. I think, we're going to see Elam health, on the field. Finally, going to find out what he's about because we have to. And but if there's a soft spot right now, it's going to be those perimeter corners. I think that's what you got to try to pick on if you want to try to keep pace with us. Guys that haven't seen the field, guys that just aren't the top 2. Try to pick on that a little bit. That's where I would go if I were the Jags.
I definitely dig it. I definitely get it. So X factors. What do you think will be the X factor for both teams in this game?
The X factor for me I'm not going to take the cop out and say Josh Allen. That horse, I've beaten that horse to the point that I could start a glue factory out here with all the dead horses I've beaten. I'm not going to explain that joke. I'm going to move on. So
I'm here with you.
All right. Okay. Just making sure one person got it. I was like, I don't know. This one for me is going to be the Bills' offensive line. Our defensive front is scary. I don't know that anybody can slow them down right now. But if our offensive line holds up, we're tough to beat. We've been running the football. I don't know if we're scheming blocks to make it work. But the running game, and I'm not a run-first guy by any means. You'll never hear me pound my fist and say, we need a top 5 running back. We need to just ground and pound. I'm not that dude. But the addition of balance has made it. There's nothing more disheartening than first down gashing 8 yards. And then you sit there and go, they can do a lot here. We have that now. But if that offensive line holds up and we can do that, it's going to open the whole game. The X factor for me for the Jags, in turn, has to be the defensive line. They got to get pressure on Josh. I don't know that defensively they're good enough to slow us down if Josh has time and we can run the football. And the fact that there's still people out there talking that Josh Allen is not a top-tier quarterback baffles me. But there are people out there saying it. I'm sorry. If you want to say that, have your team play us and give Josh time. You're going to look foolish. But so it's going to be that battle collectively for me. The offensive line, defensive line going against them again, and then going from there.
Okay. So what is your score prediction for this matchup?
If this was being played either in Buffalo or down in Duval County, I would put this at a substantial blowout. I would put this 34-13. But weird things happen in London. I'm going to say it's going to be tight. I'm going to say the Bills offense starts maybe a hair slow. Let's go 24-14. A little 10-point W for the Bills. And for the record, anytime I talk Bills Jaguars, I want to say 60-10 solely because I had to watch a playoff game there. And the chant of Duval is not only frustratingly annoying, and I'm sure people feel the same way about the Bill Shout song, but I also don't get it. You're cheering for your county. Like, the Bills play in Erie County. We don't sit there and go, Erie! Like, I just don't get it. And I hate it. In my soul. I lose sleep over it. So I'm actually glad we're not playing in Jacksonville, so I don't have to hear it on my TV. But yeah, so there we go. 24-14 because we're in London.
All right. So one other quick question for you. Well, got a couple of comments here, so let's go over those real quick first. So Ghoulie says, I would love a win. Please, Bears, please. Then I had the Bills making the Super Bowl last year. They can still make it this year as well. I mean, they are a talented squad.
Very true.
And then got a comment here. It's a Florida thing. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, weird stuff happens in Florida too. I've been there a lot. So,
hey man, the guys wear thong sandals in Florida. Need we say more? You know. So, have you guys already gotten to? Have you already gotten over there, or when is your team going to leave and get over there?
I believe they're traveling they either traveled today or they're traveling tomorrow. I'm not positive. Okay. I know because that's a big thing too, is Jacksonville staying in London for the two games, which kind of and that's why like that slow start and Jackson, they've been there, they're living the life already. I was actually just reading an article before I jumped on that they're staying in the same hotel, the whole team. They have a conference room rented out for team meals. They're doing everything as a team. They're kind of doing like a team building thing down there for the week on top of their normal practice schedule, just because, I mean, you're in London. Why not? Right.
Right. Like family and everybody's not there because, you're in London. So yeah, right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, good luck, man. Make sure you hop in the chat, and everybody that's from the show in the chat, just make sure you also place in the chat where people can find you, so that when everyone else is seeing the show, they say, "Oh, I like that guy. Let me go follow him."
Right on. Right. I'm gonna leave you with this, a little Josh Allen style troll. That's for you, Mike McDaniels, you nerd.
Sadly, I know what that means. Good luck, man. We'll see you back.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
No problem. No problem. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're going to be doing 4 matchups this week. So we're kind of at the halfway point. So here's where I like to remind everyone. Make sure that you go to youtube.com/@realplaycallers or playcallersportstalk.com/live. Make sure you like and subscribe there. Also, while you're there, there's several different wonderful playlists that you can check out. One of which is the Matchup Madness, where you can see all of the videos that are sent by the contributors that are not on this week. They do send the videos. So just another place for you to check out. If there's any other games you may be considering, thinking about, wondering, and you don't see it here live, we're kind of switching it up this year, doing this mix, and that gives you a chance to, be able to hang out with us for a little bit, but also go there, see some of the wonderful content, check it out, like it if you feel it, share it, all those wonderful things. All right, so we're going to hop back into the next matchup now. And that's going to be, it looks like another solo we got going on here. So we have our 49ers contributor, Steven Box. What's going on, Steven?
What's up, man? Even a Cowboys fan scared to show up? Man, I tell you.
Hey, you never know, man. All right, so we got a couple of comments here. We'll hop on right quick. So the one thing I love about the Bills fan base, y'all put your fan base through tables. And as a wrestling fan, I respect the H out of that. Also, Sacktonville. Okay. And then also Gully says, yeah, please support because Clue can tell you that the videos I be sending is depressed yet passionate Bear fan who's so desperate. That is, Gully, that is the best way to describe the videos that you send. Yes, sir. That is very true.
Thoughts and prayers for you, Gully. Thoughts and prayers, man.
Yeah, that's
pulling for you. We're pulling for you.
That's sadly very accurately true. But yeah, we'll stop on to this matchup here, man. So we got you, just 49ers. You're playing what most people considered up until they lost the best team in the NFC. Some people say it. I'm not saying I said it. A lot of people are saying it.
Were all those people located in the state of Texas?
They were probably in the state of Texas, played football in the state of Texas, or were transplants from the state of Texas. But I'm just saying it was a large amount of people that were carrying that banner.
Yes, there were some people. Yes, okay.
Absolutely. All right, so one other comment here. Big wrestling guy. Never been through a table myself, but I wanted to throw a few through myself. Hey, there's some Eagles fans I want to throw through a table too, and that's not even our custom. So, for this matchup, man, what do you see as strengths for your 49ers?
So, obviously, a big strength for both of these teams is the defenses, right? When you look at the Cowboys on the year, they're only allowing 10.3 points per game. 49ers allowing 14.5. So pretty close there. And I think really the difference in these two teams comes down to a couple things. When we start talking about strengths versus weaknesses. So number one is consistency at quarterback. Right now, Brock Purdy has been more consistent than Dak Prescott. Number two is coaching. Kyle Shanahan is a better coach than Mike McCarthy. And I think it's consistency in the run game because, yes, Dallas has had some success running the ball, and Tony Pollard is a very good back. He's not as good as CMC, but where that kind of changes is Dallas is more prone to go away from the run, even when it's working. Whereas San Francisco, if the run is working, they're just going to run it down your throat. So to me, that kind of creates a little bit of an advantage to San Francisco because Dallas is prone to go away from it even when it's working. You're muted, sir.
Do have a comment here from a actual Cowboys fan. It says and GA. And then a couple more comments here from Gully. Gully's really alive in the chat tonight. He said, I appreciate it. Wait a minute. The 49ers are facing the Cowboys this week. Do us all a favor. I will raise my hand to the sky in spirit bound formation for you guys to beat the Cowboys. He also says, one more thing, the whole thing about Dallas having the best defense and saying, oh, they'll be better than the 85 Bears is blasphemous to me. I don't have any issues with Cowboys fans, but really.
Well, we're going to get a chance to find out just how good Dallas defense is this week, right? And look, I'm not even questioning their defense is good. Matter of fact, I'm not even questioning if it's great because it is. But this is a 49ers team that is averaging over 30 points a game. They have, I think, scored, it's either the last 12 or 14 regular season games, they scored over 30 points. So Dallas is going to have their hands full with his offense. You're not playing Matt Jones this week. Let's put it that way.
No whack and cheese is going to be served this week.
Yeah.
All right. Tats and Stats said the man said spirit bomb formation. LFG. I love it, man. I
don't even know what that means, but let's go.
Yeah, sadly, I know what that means too because I am an anime nerd. So I know what that means too. So the next question that I'll ask you is simply this. We kind of talked about your defense, who you think's better on both sides. Mm-hmm. What strategically should each team be attempting to do to get the game to go the way that they want it to go for them to win?
Yeah, I think if you're Dallas, you have to run the football, right? You have to find a way to run the ball. I think San Francisco has put up pretty good defensive numbers against the run this year, but there's been a couple times where I've seen guys be able to get some runs off that are a little concerning to me, right? Maybe not as stout against the run as we were last year. And I think honestly, a lot of that is Steve Wilkes is still trying to figure out a little bit what the identity of what he wants his defense to be this year, right? Obviously, a very accomplished defensive coordinator, very good, but he's still kind of playing with his new toys, so to speak. And so I think there's a little bit of a filling out process there. So Dallas needs to be able to run the football, because if you go and put this game into Dak's hands, you are really risking something going terribly wrong for you. So I think they have to be able to run the football. On the other side of that, the two things they're going to need to do defensively is they're going to have to stop the run and force us to become one-dimensional. And you're going to have to try to do something that nobody else has really been able to do to this point, and that's force Brock Purdy to start making mistakes. Because if you allow Brock Purdy to go sit back there and get the ball into the hands of guys like Debo and Kittle and Ayuk and CMC, you're going to be in trouble. And so, to me, those are the two things that Dallas needs to do defensively. For the 49ers, it's simple. You have to take what the defense gives you. You have to understand that Dallas is going to bring pressure. You got to get the ball out of your hands to your playmakers. You can't sit there and ask Brock Purdy to sit back there all day. You have to get the ball out of his hands. You have to be able to run the ball successfully to take some of the pressure off. Those are going to be the big things for them to do. And then defensively, the 49ers have given up a lot of passing yards relative to what they did last year. But I think a lot of that is also because they've been getting so far up on teams that teams are passing the ball against them a lot more. So I'm actually not too concerned about the passing game. I think that CeeDee Lamb will probably get his. He had a really good game against San Francisco in the divisional round last year. I think it was like 10 catches for like 100 and some yards. So I expect him to have a good game. So for me, it's if you can shut down the run, if you can slow Tony Pollard down and force Dallas into passing, because as I said earlier, if you can put the ball into Dak's hands, you increase your chance of winning.
All right. And a couple more comments here. So Gully says, I'm a big DBZ fan. Me too. And then Hats Tats Stats podcast says, I knew I liked you guys. Then Gully comes back. I'm not going to lie. The 49ers look dang near unstoppable. This is literally a test for both teams. But the edge to be goes to the 49ers. Nothing against the Cowboys, but Christian McCaffrey and Debo is back. All right. And then Gully says, like the list goes on and on. I even have the 49ers potentially coming out of the NFC to be in the Super Bowl. But the big question is, can they stop Philly? Because right now in the NFC is between Philly 49ers.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the Cowboys are right there in that conversation. And I get it's easy to dismiss them because they've fallen short the last couple of years. And I mean, really, they've fallen short the last 25, 30 years. But when you, sorry, I had to do it. But when you look at what has happened to them the last couple of years, it's because they've lost to us, right? I mean, realistically speaking, the last 2 years, there were only two teams in the playoffs that had an opportunity to beat Dallas, and it was the 49ers and the Eagles. And they just happened to have to run into the 49ers both years. So to me, these are the three best teams in the NFC. That's what is going to be so fun about this matchup this week. Honestly, I don't feel like either one of these teams have played anybody yet, right? We don't know really and truly who either one of these teams are this season. We have a good idea who they are based on their history, but this is the first big test for both of these teams, and not just to find out how good they are, but to find out how good they are relative to one another.
Yeah, this matchup kind of reminds me of the Dolphins-Bills matchup from the past weekend. Not necessarily what the outcome is going to be, but I mean, just the fact that you had one really strong game between two teams that you were kind of wondering. Everybody expects them both to be really good teams, but you're playing another team early. So it's very interesting to kind of see how this is going to play out. I don't think this determines who's the best team in the NFC. I don't think this determines who's going to go to the Super Bowl. But this could be a big thing for home field advantage. Yep. If, these two teams were to end up with the same record, head-to-head, obviously, first tiebreaker. So, it has a lot of deep spanning, things that could be a part of it. And, like the Eagles and Cowboys, they're going to play twice this year. So one game was not going to be that important. And then the Eagles and the 49ers are going to play this year. So you're going to kind of get a round robin with all the teams playing each other. So you get an idea, kind of where things sit at least for those weeks and in the overall scheme of things. So this is definitely be a good game to watch. I think it's going to be the game that most people are going to be watching unless they have something else going on weird. I don't know, but this should be a good televised game. Anytime that the football team from Arlington is playing, a lot of people watch, and then 49ers, a lot of people watch. So them playing each other, this should be a good game. So guys, this should be the Monday night game. I'm going to say this should be the Monday night game.
Yeah, I will say this too. I think that where this game matters the most in terms of looking down the road at potential home field advantage, right, is this game and the Eagles game are both super important for the 49ers. Because if they win those two games, it is almost a guarantee that Dallas and Philly are going to split the season, right? They're going to go 1-1. So that extra loss could be the difference, right? So if we lose to either the Cowboys or the Eagles, that could be enough, like you said, to actually cost us home field if we're lucky enough to still be in that position at the end of the season. So big game, a lot on the line.
Yep. And a couple of more comments here, and then we'll hop on to this last matchup here. So we've got Hat Tats Stats Podcast, Bills 49ers or Bills Eagles Super Bowl. Put it on the board. I know which one I'd like to see. I'm sure it's not the same one.
Definitely not.
All right. And Gooley says also. Yep. Gooley says also the Chiefs are still around too. Just saying you don't want to count them out. But another thing also too, I don't know about all the rest of you, but I'm so sick and tired of Taylor Swift crap.
Hold up, wait. Let me do this one time. Very algorithms. Taylor Swift.
Right. I'm going to go change one of the hashtags to Taylor Swift, right? We'll probably get like another 500 views an hour.
We just gained 7,000 subscribers in the last 15 seconds right now.
Absolutely. So FYI, Taylor Swift. No, I'm just kidding. But I feel the Gooley, but I mean, when you're a star like that and you're dating a football player, I mean, it's inevitable that it's going to happen, but it is what it is.
I mean, did you see the rating numbers for that game? 27 million people. I mean,
our fans are going to watch when her boo plays.
Yeah, if you're sick of it, just be sick of it, because guess what? Numbers like that, they are going to milk this for everything it's worth. If they are dating and he tries to break up with her, the NFL's not going to let him.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yep.
All right, man. So good luck. Make sure you hop in the comments. Let everybody know, and then let everybody know where they can follow you. Have it down so they can just hop on it, and click it, and check out your work. And we'll see you back. I'm sure the 49ers have some more games that'll be on here.
Absolutely.
We absolutely know they do, because they're the 49ers and they're one of the teams that a lot of people think everybody wants to see. I'll leave it at that.
It's not thank you, sir.
Adios, my good man. All right. So Gooley has a few comments. Then we're going to get to our last matchup here. So Gooley says, I mean, it's understandable. We've seen that in the past. I just hope she doesn't bring the Jessica Simpson, Tony Romo type situation where the fans go crazy to the point they ban her or blame her for games. And then Hats Tats Stats Podcast says they're trying to expand the reach. And she's expected to make over $1 billion for the city of Toronto over her 3-day concert series. She's 100% a draw, and they know it. And then Gooley says, ugh. Well, I mean, Gooley, that's what it is. I mean, she's a megastar. That's what it is. This would be the equivalent of like Beyonce dating Jalen Hurts. Obviously, they wouldn't date. Beyonce's married, but just, to point out, right? That's the kind of equivalent it would be. So, yeah. All right, Chris, what is going on, man?
What's up, cool? Another day, another dollar, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we are down to the last matchup that we are going to be talking about today. And that is the Las Vegas Raiders against the Ain't No Love in the City Green Bay Packers.
Yo, it's gonna be an interesting game. Quick recap of last week. Like I said last week, I expected that game to go about the way it did.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy G being out in the concussion protocol. We still don't know even know if he's going to go through this week or not. They haven't said anything yet.
Right.
But I will say, even though he had 3 fumbles and an interception thrown in the red zone, Aiden O'Connell actually played surprisingly well, enough to keep the Raiders in that game. But it just wasn't enough. At this point, I don't even know what else I could say that or anybody could do to help this team. It's like they're waiting on Caleb Williams next year or something.
Hey man, I don't know, because I don't even think that it's a guarantee that he's coming out. So if that's who people are waiting on, I think you would do better just to play. Now, if you just want the pick so you can have his leverage, different things like that, I get it. But I'm questioning people waiting for him. There are other guys too, though. So it's not like if he doesn't come out, there's not other quarterbacks that I think are going to be very good. Drake May should be coming out. I think he'll be very good. There's several other guys that should be coming out that I think will be very good as well. So either way, I think the teams at the top are going to have their pick, but just don't be hooked on Caleb because he may go right back to USC.
Right.
So back to the game here. So got y'all. We got the Loveless one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would be the key matchups within the game? So key position groups, key, matchups or whatever between the two teams. And how do you see those kind of unfolding?
I think for Green Bay, they're going to have to get A.J. Dillon involved in that running game. Get him going. That's going to open up some pass lanes. The Raiders have proven over the last 4 weeks that they can't stop anybody. So if you can create passing lanes, they're going to be there to be able to just Love will be able to carve up the whole entire defense. Now, if they can't run the ball, then it's going to be, a race to get to the quarterback with Max Crosby. I don't think that Green Bay's offensive line is going to be able to hold up the entire game to prevent Crosby from wreaking havoc in the backfield. Now, and as I said previous weeks, we don't know who's going to be on the opposite side. It's official. Chandler Jones is no longer with the team. He was supposed to be eligible to come back this week, but he got released. Jerry Tillery is probably going to be suspended for this game after his hit on Justin Herbert. So who's going to be that other guy to step up on the opposite side of Max Crosby? But if the Packers can control that running game and be able to keep the Raiders defense honest, then he loves to see to carve up the defense because that secondary is suspect at best.
All right. And from the side of Green Bay, what do they need to do in order to win this game against the Raiders?
As we saw at the tail half of the Chargers game, Josh Jacobs was able to kind of get rolling. He's starting to get that groove back. And this is kind of around the same time last year that he started getting rolling and went on to just outrun the rest of the league. So they have to limit his carries. He put up 81 passing yards. So the Raiders were able to get him out into space, even though the running lanes weren't there, but they were still able to feed their playmaker the ball. And so being able to limit Josh Jacobs puts more pressure on a battered and bruised Devontae Adams to be able to carry that offense. He's not going to be able to do it by himself, no matter who's back there throwing the ball to him. And in addition to that, you look at what the Chargers were able to do defensively. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks by himself. The Raiders' offensive line is not going to be able to stop anybody. Matter of fact, my old high school has some defensive linemen that can probably get in there and get a couple of sacks on this offensive line. So look for them to do that and to be not even send the house, but they can get pressure with just their front four. And for Green Bay, that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to pressure, block those run holes, and then be able to, whoever's back there throwing the ball, be able to make them uncomfortable. And the Raiders are going to have to be able to, they're going to have to hold up. You look to see some more max protections, look to see some more extra linemen out there on the field on come Monday, because they're going to have to be able to protect whoever's back there.
Definitely. I dig it. All right, so finish up here. A couple of other questions. I'll just give them both to you, and you just answer both of them. So, first question would be: do you feel as though your defense has a better advantage over their offense, or your offense over their defense? And then the second one would be, of course, the one I ask most people, and that would be after any final thoughts and your score prediction for the game.
Sure. So, as far as the Raiders defense goes, they've been on the field an awful lot. I think the average time of possession that the Raiders opponents have had is anywhere between 30 and 35 minutes a game. That's literally over half the game that the defense has been on the field. So by the end of the game, they're exhausted. So in order for that to change, you're gonna have to be able to do more offensively, be able to convert third downs, which the Raiders have been dead last at this year. They have to be able to do that more. So the advantage is going to go to Green Bay in that regards, because they do have they have a better established run game, and they have a quarterback who is kind of minimalizing his mistakes. So that's going to be the key. If the defense can get off the field as quickly as possible, and offense can stay on the field. And I know it's cliche, but that's just how it's been this year. If you have a defense that's on the field 30, 40 minutes a game, they're not going to be able to stop anybody. I'm really surprised that they haven't had 70 points scored on them like Denver has. But final thoughts, I think this is going to be it's going to be an interesting game. You can't fall to 1-4, especially in the AFC, if you have any hopes of being to make it to the playoffs. So they're going to have to control the ball on both sides of the field and be able to minimize the dumb penalties and mistakes in the red zones, and because they're killing themselves with these penalties and stupid mistakes. But I look at it's probably going to be a 24-17 game going to the Packers.
All right. And a couple more comments here. So we get Hats Tats Stats podcast. Taylor Swift, hashtag for the algorithm. And then we get Stephen Box for the Playco Sports Talk side saying 49ers are my team. I do talk all NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball every Friday night, 7:30 p.m. EST right here. playcollegesportstalk.com/live. And also hashtag Taylor Swift for the algorithm.
She's not.
That's what we need to start doing. We need to start putting Taylor Swift in the hashtags. I think that's the way to win. All jokes aside, that's the way to win.
She's definitely not going anywhere, and I think her biggest hater right now is Brittany Mahomes.
Oh, do you see the look she be giving her?
They're so bad.
It's so juicy. It makes you even want to watch more. But so yeah, man, it's a lot of interesting games that are going to happen this weekend, because I know we look at the games and we talk about, this team's undefeated, this team only has one win, this team has no wins, blah blah blah. But I think when you see teams that are not very good play each other, you're still a great game, because it's still two evenly matched teams.
Yeah. The
games that are bad are when you have a really good team play a really bad team. So I think we'll have some solid matchup this weekend. You guys are going to be tough on Monday nights. I'm going to do my best to try to pull myself into watching part of the game. But if it was the 49ers and Cowboys, I would be watching. I mean, nothing personal, but I'm just saying, But good luck, man.
I don't blame you. The whole stadium is going to be nothing but green and yellow, because everyone sells their tickets to all the away teams out here. But it's going to be a tough game, low scoring games. If you like those long defensive, low scoring slugfests, this is going to be that game.
Well, good luck in the game, man. And of course, you know for sure you'll be back week 8, week 13, and week 18. Any other primetime matchups, of course. And then we do have the fan picks of the week. The teams that were picked this week, they weren't able to make it. So, you know, it happens, but they were there. The opportunity was there.
Honestly, be surprised if I ever get one of those fan pick games, but you never know.
You never know, man. You never know. Well, man, we're going to go ahead and end things for the evening. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. I'll give you my normal sign off. Tell 2 of your friends, 4 of your enemies, check us out. Because just because they don't like you doesn't mean they won't like us. And we're out.